call is now being recorded.
Okay, good morning. In the last class, we have started the functions of production planning and control. So we have seen these are the main functions of a production planning and control. Basically, this can be seen as three phases. First one is the planning phase, then comes the action phase, and finally the control phase. So in that planning phase, the first one we have discussed, that is a planning. Now we'll go to the routing, scheduling, loading, dispatching, expediting, etc. So first of all, in the planning, we have subdivision, that is business plan, aggregate plan, master production schedule, material requirement planning, etc. And we have discussed that. Now we'll move to routing. What is routing? Routing or the process planning, also known as process planning. By the name itself, routing, route ചെയ്യുക അല്ലേ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ എന്തായിരിക്കും? We are giving the path or how to do the process. That is the process planning. We are planning the process, how to do, or the path of the procedure. That is, it is defined as the selection of path or routes over which each product is to travel in being transformed from the raw material into finished product. So any product, we know there is an input and output. So input is the raw material and output is the finished product. And the production itself is the transformation of input into output, or the raw material is being transferred to finished product. So by routing, we are doing the planning, or it is a planning process in which the process, that is the production process, is being routed, or we are selecting the path, or how to or how the process is being done, through which route or the path we are defining the path, how it should be done. So it includes the main activities like the first one, determining the quality of the product to be manufactured. First of all, we'll determine what is the level of quality we required for the end product. Then determining the men, machines, and materials to be used for in order to get the requisite quality, which all workmen should be used. That is the determination of the men. Then machines, which all machines to be used, which all materials to be used. So regarding these things, we have to determine. Then third one, determining the type, number, and sequence of the manufacturing operations. So in order to do the procedure, manufacturing operation, particular operation, what are the types of available operations? So for example, if you want to have a hole of particular diameter, we can have many options. Either you can opt for slotting, or you can use drilling, or you can use even turning. So determining the type, then number of operations. For drilling itself, we can first of all use drilling operation, then boring operation, reaming operation, finishing operation, etc, etc. So there are a number of operations. So determine the type, number, and sequence of the operation. So first of all, you are doing the operation number one. Either it is a rough turning, then finish polishing. So the sequence you have to define. Okay. Then determine the place of production. Finally, we have to determine where it is to be produced or where you have to do the production. So these are the main activities which are included in the routing. So first of all, determining the quality of the product. You have to set the quality. Then determine the men, machine, and materials to be used. Then third one, determining the type, number, and sequence of manufacturing operations. And finally, the place of production. Now, what are the objectives or aim of the routing? Here it is the objectives. So we can see. First of all, it determines the sequence of manufacturing operation. We have already said this should give the sequence or define the sequence through which the manufacturing operation to be done. Either first operation to be done. What is the first operation? What is the next operation? After finishing the second, we have to move to another operation or do the operation like this. So such a sequence is to be given. Then second one, it ensures the strict adherence to the sequence so determined. So first of all, we have defined a sequence. Then the later stage, what we have to do is we have to ensure that is we are following the a particular sequence, and that is the strict adherence to the sequence so determined. Then third one, it strives for the best possible and cheapest sequence of operations. So we have many alternatives. We have many possible sequences of operation for a particular job, but we have to select the particular or a particular or say sequence of operation where we have the cheapest possible value or the which is the most economical way. Then next one, it influences the design and layout of the factory building with a view to get quick and better production results. So through routing, we should get a quick and better production results. How? By proper designing of the layout. So routing itself is the determination of the path or defining the path, appropriate path. So through proper routing, we should be able to get a or design the layout so that we will get a quicker and better production results. And finally, it also influences the installation of plant and factory for better results. So finally, it influences the installation for the better results. So these are the main key objectives or aims of the routing. But routing in the main objectives ആണ് ഈ പറഞ്ഞത്. Okay. Next, advantages. What are the advantages of routing? First one, economic advantage is based on the principle of division of labor. Division of labor. അപ്പോൾ ഓരോരുത്തർക്ക് സ്പ്ലിറ്റ് ചെയ്ത് നമ്മൾ കൊടുത്തേക്കാണ് ഓരോ ജോബ്. Correct through particular or specific routing, we will be able to have the economic advantage. The profit we have to will get the profit, maximum profit. Then optimum utilization of machines. We are able to optimize the utilization of machines, not over usage or not under usage, but the optimum utilization of the machine is possible through appropriate or proper routing. Then the production of goods according to the schedule. That is very important. That is, the production can be done according to a predefined schedule. In the first case itself, we see that we are defining a schedule, and then we are strictly adhering to that particular schedule. So through routing, the production will go on continuously with a smooth flow, and we'll be able to cope up with the or adhere to the set schedule. Then comes the maximization of productivity. So by these things we can say we will be able to maximize the productivity, or the production rate can be increased. So ultimately the productivity will be maximized. And finally, interruption free production. So through proper routing we can eliminate the bottlenecks and all, and so that we can prevent the interruption, or interruption free production is possible. So these are the main advantages of routing. Now the next one, that is scheduling. So what is scheduling? Scheduling means, by the name itself we'll get an idea. Schedule is something related to time, right? So this is a type of planning. And what it is planning? That is anything which is when the work is to be done. That is the prior determination of when the work is to be done. That is to be planned through scheduling. So scheduling is a planning of planning the time element of production. So the time element, anything related to the production, the planning of which is termed as the scheduling. That is, it is given, that is a prior determination of when the work is to be done. ഒരു ജോലി എപ്പോൾ ചെയ്യണം, അതാണ് നമ്മൾ ഷെഡ്യൂൾ ചെയ്യുക എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്, അല്ലേ? വി ആർ ഷെഡ്യൂളിങ് എ കൾച്ചറൽ ഫെസ്റ്റ് ഫോർ ദിസ് ഡേറ്റ്. ഹിയർ ആർ വാട്ട് ഈസ് ഡൺ ഇസ് we are scheduling, or we are giving a planning of that particular thing when it should be done. അതാണ് നമ്മൾ ഷെഡ്യൂളിംഗ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. Now it consists of starting and completion times for various operations to be performed. So this scheduling procedure or the planning procedure, it mainly contains two things, that is starting time and completion time for the various operations. So for anything we have many operations related to that. So for each operation, what is the starting time and completion time, it is specified, so that we can easily control the procedure, or make the total time, or reduce the total time. So in other words, scheduling function determines when an operation is to be performed, or when the work is to be completed. So the techniques mainly used for scheduling, for in order to schedule, these things are used. That is flow process chart, Gantt chart, network techniques like CPM, PRT, etc. So these are the techniques used for scheduling. Now next thing is loading. ലോഡിംഗ് എന്ന് പറയുമ്പം നമ്മളിപ്പോൾ എന്താ പറയുക, ലോറിയിൽ വെയിറ്റ് കയറ്റുന്ന സാധനമല്ല ലോഡിങ്, അങ്ങനെ കരുതരുത്. അതിനെ വേണേൽ ആ രീതിയിലും പറയാം. ബട്ട് ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് ദ മെയിൻലി amount of work assigned to a work center or a operator. Work center അല്ലെങ്കിൽ operator. Work center means the a unit where the work is done. And the operator എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ എന്താണ്, എംപ്ലോയി തന്നെ. അപ്പോൾ either the operator or the work center, he may have a amount of work. Say for example, in my case, I am working in St. Thomas College of Engineering, and I have a particular workload. So it contains first workload is my workload is defined like this. That is I am staff advisor 2K18 batch, NBA coordinator, timetable coordinator, Linways coordinator, etc. So this is a definition of my workload, or this is my workload. So what is the load of Noel? This is the amount of work assigned to Noel. That is, a load is the amount of work assigned to a work center or operator. അപ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് വേണമെങ്കിൽ പറയാം വർക്ക് ലോഡ് ഓഫ് മെക്കാനിക്കൽ എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗ് ഡിപ്പാർട്ട്മെന്റ് എന്താണ്? collect the details of the students, those who have not paid the fees. Collect the number of students without uniform. So these are the load of the mechanical engineering department, like the work center. So whether it is a department or the staff, there is a particular load assigned to them. Similarly, here also. Anyway, loading is the assignment of work, or the same thing. It does not specify the sequence in which the work is done or when it is to be done. In my case also, it is not specifying the sequence, whether first I should do the work of the class advisorship, then only second step I have to do the purpose of NBA coordinator, then third, not in that manner. That is, there is no sequence. I should do everything. So likewise, the loading does not have a specify or does not specify the sequence in which the work is done or when it is to be done. So now we can see the difference, basic difference between loading, routing and scheduling. അതാണ് 3 കളറിൽ കൊടുത്തേക്കുന്നത്. Loading means who will do the work. Routing means where it shall be done. And scheduling, when it shall be done. അപ്പോൾ എപ്പോൾ ചെയ്യുന്നു അതാണ് ഷെഡ്യൂളിംഗ്. ഇനി എവിടെ ചെയ്യുന്നു, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ എവിടെയൊക്കെ ചെയ്യുന്നു അതാണ് റൂട്ടിംഗ്. ദാൻ ഫൈനലി ലോഡിംഗ്. ലോഡിംഗ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ആര് ചെയ്യുന്നു. സോ ദീസ് ആർ about the loading. Now dispatching. ഇപ്പം ലോഡിംഗ് ഒക്കെ കഴിഞ്ഞു. നെക്സ്റ്റ് ഇസ് ദ ഡിസ്പാച്ചിങ്. ഡിസ്പാച്ചിങ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ എന്താണ്? ഇറ്റ് ട്രാൻസ്ലേറ്റ് ദ പേപ്പർ വർക്ക് ഇൻ ടു ആക്ച്വൽ പ്രൊഡക്ഷൻ. അപ്പോൾ ഇതുവരെ നമ്മൾ ചെയ്ത് എന്തായിരുന്നു? ടിൽ നൗ വി ആർ ജസ്റ്റ് പ്ലാനിങ് ആൻഡ് ഓൾ, അല്ലേ? പ്ലാനിങ് ആൻഡ് ഡാറ്റ കളക്ഷൻ എക്സെട്ര. So we reached only up to the paperwork. Later we have to move on to the actual production. So this translation, it is the dispatching, how it is dispatched. So this is the group that coordinates and translates planning into actual production. So we have a set of plan and we need to translate it into actual production. That is done in the dispatching. So the dispatching function proceeds in accordance with the details worked out under the routing and scheduling functions. So after the routing function and scheduling, then we move on to the dispatching. So dispatching implies the issuance of the work orders. These work orders represent the authority to produce. So in the dispatching, what we do is we are giving we are issuing a particular work order. So what is a work order and or what it contains? So usually in the procedure or in the process of dispatching, what we are doing is we are issuing work orders. So we will see what are the things or which informations are included in the work order, particular typical work orders. First one, the name of the product. It should contain the name of the product. Then name of the part to be produced or the sub-assembly or final assembly. So first of all, the final product name. Then which all parts are to be produced. Sub-assembly, including the sub-assembly or final assembly. Then it should contain the order number. Then fourth one, the quantity to be produced, how much is to be produced. Then descriptions and number of operations required and their sequence. So these all are based on the previous planning, data collection, etc. So the description of the operation, then number of operations, then the sequence in which it is to be done, everything is to be given. Then next one, tools required for particular operation. For each operation, which tool is to be used, that is to be specified. And finally, machines involved in each operation and starting dates for the operation. So finally, which all machines are to be used and what is the starting time for the particular machines. So these are the dispatching, and the final step is the expediting or follow up. This is mainly a feedback session. So this is the last stage in the production control. This function designed to keep track of the work effort. That is, whether the work is moving in the correct direction or not. We are monitoring or we are giving the follow-up. So the aim is to ensure that what is intended and planned is being implemented. So whether what we intend or what we planned is implemented or not, we have to ensure it. So it consists of reporting production data and investigating the variances from the predetermined time schedules. So while planning, we have set a particular schedule. So here we have to investigate whether there is any variance, any variation from the predetermined time schedule. So that is the expediting. Now, in expediting, these are the following functions or the activities done in the expediting. First of all, first one, check up to ensure that all materials, tools, components, parts are available at all work centers in specified quantities for carrying out the manufacturing operations. First checking is this, that is to ensure that all the materials, so all the materials, tools, components, parts, everything are available. So the availability, whether the materials, the required materials, raw materials, tools, anything, everything is available at the right portion, at right quantity, the specified quantity. It should be available not only to single station, but all the work centers. Everywhere it should be available in the right quantity. Then check up the status of the work in progress and completed work at the various workstation. So in each workstation, what is the current status? Whether it is completed, or if not completed, how much percentage it is in progress. That is to be checked. Then preparation of the progress records and keeping the control boards up to date. So check the progress of the records and then controlling the same. And finally, reporting to manufacturing management all significant deviations so that the corrective action may be taken. Then what we do is reporting to the manufacturing management on the significant deviation, whether there is any significant deviations, then what is to be done, the corrective actions, which are the corrective actions that can be done. Next, These are about the expediting and the production control. Next, next is the production planning. I think we can start in the next class.